Hi, my name's Karen and I'm the face behind Signature Branding. Thank you so much for actually downloading your 5-step guide to creating easy peasy wedding invitations. If you are receiving this message, it means that you were keen to know a bit more, which is excellent, and I'm obviously here to teach you because that's one thing that I do and what I like to do when it comes to wedding stationery. So straight away, I don't want to waste anyone's time. The first thing that I actually mentioned on there was actually making sure that you have a theme in mind. So when you're starting to do the rounds, and I'm just going to show you a few bits and pieces. So theme's really important because it completely sets the tone for your wedding. So here you'll see, and I'll just have to come in a little bit for this one. I feel like I'm doing a YouTube tutorial, but all good and well. So you can straight away see these two weddings were completely different. Both gorgeous, both amazing weddings. However, obviously this one with the cursive fonts or the more handwritten fonts, you can tell it has a bit more of a contemporary feel to it. And then the gold foiling, which I'm going to talk about as well in a second, you can see was a lot more formal, a bit more ball glam. So just making sure you have a theme, and whether that's to do with your colours or whatever, that's going to help you kind of set the tone for the big day. Next, you've got your cardstock or your card options. So basically what I would have tried to explain to you is that essentially card is measured in weight, it's measured in grams, and so you can basically go from having an A4 sheet of paper, which is what you call 80 GSM or grams per square, or you can have a 600 GSM piece of card, which is obviously going to be a really high quality, premium quality cardstock. So you want to make sure that you've kind of decided, and here's just like some of the samples that I use in terms of colours and schemes and that kind of thing. Look how many shades of white you can get, Jesus. So you basically want to make sure that you are choosing a stock that is going to represent some form of quality. It doesn't necessarily have to be on that high end of 600 GSM. You want to stay clear of anything that is anything really below, if it's just a regular white cardstock, you want to kind of stay clear of anything that is below 300 GSM, just because when your guests receive that invitation in the post, they'll actually feel it, truth be told, and so that's something you want to consider. Next, I just quickly wanted to talk to you about fonts. I love kind of dealing with fonts. Again, you can't see that properly, can you? Let me do the whole, this is what they do on YouTube, right? Yeah, that's what they do on YouTube. So I kind of love dealing with fonts because fonts obviously play a huge part of the theme of your wedding, your overall invitation, your style. And you can see here, again, two very different fonts that create a very different feel or vibe for your wedding stationery. So anytime you're thinking about getting anything like this, so Bryson and Simone, you're talking about what we call sans serif fonts. So think of, if you're ever using a Word document, if you're going to use Arial font, for instance, and then a font like this is often called a sans font. This particular one is either cursive or handwritten font, but obviously two very different styles. So you want to have that in mind because you wouldn't necessarily put these two fonts together because you can see that they completely clash, okay, in that particular style anyway, where you've got the big bold fonts there. So bear that in mind when it comes to your fonts. So next I'm going to mention, I look too short for this. Next I'm going to mention printing. So this is where, depending on your actual budget, you're going to want to think about what is possible to achieve. Essentially, the more complex and the more glamorous the printing technique is, the more it's basically going to cost you. So you really need to bear that in mind. So you can go from having standard digital print, which is always going to be your most cost-effective option, but you've also got, and I mentioned it earlier, gold foil. I'm hoping you can see the shine on that. So this is a map I did. Oh, can you see the shine if I do this, kind of? So you've got gold foiling, which is considered to be a luxury technique. You've got letterpress, okay, where you've actually indented into your 500 to 600 GSM cardstock your print. So that creates a really luxurious feel when your guests receive this kind of thing in the post. And then my favourite, and what's totally in at the moment, and I am just loving, is the acrylics. You can't run away from the acrylics, and you can't run away from the contemporary feel that these acrylics are bringing. So you can't see my face, but it's not about my face, it's about the actual acrylics. The contemporary feel that these are bringing to wedding stationery at the moment So this particular one, you can see, I love this. I obviously did these as a sample, and I don't know if it's going to turn around when I stop filming this, so I'm going to turn it around just in case. So these were acrylic round menus that I've created, and obviously they actually double up as place cards. So Cardi B could potentially be coming to my wedding. But yeah, so basically acrylic is another sort of option. And then last but not least, I just wanted to talk to you about extras. So extras can include things that actually work with your invitations. Extras can also include your on the day station, which is something that's often overlooked, believe it or not. So people can often forget about the really small details, such as the place cards, such as the menus. And if you are someone like me who loves a bit of attention to detail, it's actually these small things that actually create that really aesthetically pleasing Instagram look. And that's basically what you're trying to achieve if I'm talking to you right now. So just bear that in mind. So again, some samples. You've got the menus. So again, acrylic menus, which look super contemporary, super trendy. Love these to bits. Okay. If we were just to talk about the invitations themselves and things that you need to consider, okay, small things that people forget. So things like your envelopes. Okay. So if you are wanting to, if you are basically wanting a square invitation, you need to obviously realise that you need a square envelope. Now, the thing about a square envelope, what you need to be aware of is sending one of these in the post is going to cost you $2 as opposed to sending your standard regular envelope 130 by 190 mil, which is going to cost you $1. So I always like to tell my clients that as well, because it's a bit of an oversight. So if you were wanting to save some money, just bear that in mind when it comes to square invitations. Other bits and pieces, you might even be thinking about a pocket. So a pocket style envelope. I feel like I need to come in for this one because you can't really see it, can you? So yeah, so you might be thinking of a pocket style envelope like this one, okay, which then you fold with the potential of putting a belly band, another thing that you consider or could consider around that, and then actually putting that in an envelope and sending that to post. So that is definitely an extra. And then you've got, if you wanted to go sort of more low key, so not necessarily the big and bold acrylic menus on the day, but even just something really simple like a DL sized menu, double sided, that covers both your drinks and your food. Super, super simple. Okay, so that is it from me, and that is all I wanted to say. If you've managed to make it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions for me, I'm very accessible. I'm on Instagram like a dog because I love it, and that's my main platform. So if you haven't done so already, look out for me on Instagram. I am signature underscore, that's 2 underscore, signature underscore branding. I'm also on Facebook, so you can check me out on there. And if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to either shoot me an email, send me a DM, comment on a post of mine on Instagram, and so I'll hope to speak to you soon. Alrighty, ciao for now. How did I do? Did I do good? Was that good? All right, it was okay.